Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what show had you hooked after one episode? Band of Brothers. David Schwimmer absolutely killed it as Captain Sobel. I had no idea he had it in him. I actually haven't ever seen it, but the idea of Ross killing a dramatic role is something that really intrigues me. Band of Brothers is one of those rare shows that start amazing and they remain amazing during the entire show. Miniseries in general are much better at maintaining momentum. Invincible. The end of the first episode is insane. I just watched it a few days ago, so damn good. The craziest and most impactful scene for me was that subway scene. That shit is absolutely going to stick with me. Edit, that, and the what will you have after 500 years? You, Dad exchange was great. That whole last episode in particular was a fucking masterpiece. Agreed. When that last scene happened, tears just rolled down my eyes. Love that show. If you don't want to be spoiled, watch it. But Invincible was the first show that the hero believably won with the power of love for me. I fucking cried when Amima choked up and flew off in tears after Invincible said he'd still have him after everyone else he loves will eventually die. Fucking great writing there. Kirobile. That's because it's as high as the meters can read. Boris Shtabia, to pilot, get us over that building, or I'll have you shot. Valery Legasov, to pilot, if you fly directly over that core, I promise you, by tomorrow morning, you'll be begging for that bullet. Midhuter, Stranger Things, Kirobile. I'm so mad we aren't getting more seasons of Midhuter. In an interview, Jonathan Groff said he felt as sure about a season 3 as he was about Frozen 3. https://movieyube.com. All 20 digits are crossed. Kirobile is fucking wild, and then you remember it's true and it's wilder. It's one of the best mini-series ever, but there certainly is a degree of fiction and artistic creativity. I know it's uncool now, but back in the day, Game of Thrones. The first episode ended when Jaime Lannister threw Bran Stark out of the window after Bran saw Jaime banging Cersei, and we were like, holy shit, that was nuts. Got through season 4 was just peak TV. I will never be able to wrap my head around what happened. I will never be able to wrap my head around what happened. It's not really that complicated. The first 4 seasons were based on the books that had come out, so all the writers had to do was follow GRM's plot. After that, they had nothing but some basic plot points GRM wanted to hit on, and the quality dropped. In an ideal world, the show would have come out after the books were finished, but of course it seems unlikely at this point that we even get another book. It's uncool now because of how fucking cool it once was before they did the opposite of stick the landing on the ending. Those first few seasons always had some totally crazy event happening. It was such good TV. Like Lost and Battlestar Galactica, they started off amazing and finished poorly, and nobody gives them credit for the really good seasons. I loved Battlestar Galactica. Everybody complains about the end, but they were telegraphing religious shit for literally the entire series. Then everybody got pissy when they followed through on it. Oh my god, they decided that Kara was Angel. This is so stupid, it's bullshit. Were you guys not watching the Solos talk about that shit since episode 1? How did they create Prophesize? How did the 13th colony know that the final 5 shit would happen when the star went supernova? How did the seer that Zia spoke to know that the kid was alive? Not to mention the shared dreams with Rossley. Anyway, my one actual gripe with the show was the tagline of the first season. They have a plan. Well, they had a plan. And they executed it. They blew up the colonies. Now the plan is done and they're trying to mop up. Edit, I will also give the disclaimer that I am not religious. I'm not using that show as crutch for religious beliefs. But within the context of that show, they made it pretty clear that there was something more going on. The Good Place. If you know nothing about it, that's perfect. Just watch the first episode and you'll see for yourself whether it's for you. It's more fun not knowing anything about it. Brooklyn 99 also hooked me right from the jump. As did Gravity Falls, The Owl House, and Lucifer. Loved The Good Place. An amazing show that didn't overstay its welcome and get stale, and also managed to have one of the most satisfying series finales I've ever seen, even though it completely destroyed me emotionally. That show is so good because it was planned. The start of that show is great, but the ending is arguably perfect. It was 104% perfect. True Detective Season 1. That long take scene in the hood was awesome. Well, start asking the right fucking questions. Roll credits. Severance had me hooked from frame 1. Please try to enjoy all frames equally. Frame 1 is coveted as fuck. The plot follows Mark Scott, an employee of Lumo Industries who agrees to a severance program in which his non-work memories are separated from his work memories. Oh okay. This is on my list. Stop what you're doing and watch this show right now lol. If you don't have Apple TV Plus, it's worth the cost. It's probably the best show I've seen in the last few years. It's incredible. The XFiles. First episode I saw was the host, human parasite sur monster thing aka flukema, and after that I was hooked. The classic IoT's music, clothes, the government conspiracies and supernatural mystery, the FBI awesomeness, bizarre characters, I could go on and on. Just a great show that's always fun to watch. The first episode on the X-Files I watched was Home, the Incest Murder Family 1. 11-year-old me was blown away. Years later I find out it is one of the most infamous episodes. The Boys. The Expanse. When you slowly realize what a train had just done as the slow-mo camera pans out. That sold me and I've been hooked ever since. The Expanse is amazing but kinda surprised to see it here. It's kinda hard to get into until 3 to 4 episodes in IMO, a ton of stuff to set up early and it's kinda confusingly presented at times in early season 1. I liked the pilot way more upon rewatch because I caught all the little details. I have always hated how subversive shows try to hide that fact, but The Boys reveals exactly what it is from the bat. Yup. First scene was them showing off the heroes, and the second was the true plot. Definitely had me hooked. I've told people to give it 15 minutes. You'll know if it's for you or not by then. Futurama. Space, it seems to go on forever. Then you get to the end and a gorilla starts throwing barrels at you. Hey fry pizza going out Komu. Over the Garden Wall. That was a fun little short animated show. It was a lot darker to think about than I expected lol. Orphan Black's first episode is really one of the best pilots ever. Just 5 minutes, or less, if you've seen the train scene you know what I'm talking about, and I'm already hooked. That actress is amazing. Talk about range. Great show, and what an actress. I think I might want to rewatch it now. The actress was okay but the one that played her sister was amazing. Literally the only twin show / movie that I've ever actually become immersed in. She establishes the individual personalities and mannerisms so well that you completely forget they are being played by the same person. Hell, there's even scenes where one of the clones is pretending to be another one of the clones and you completely can tell it's still the other clone. It's honestly one of the coolest acting performances I've ever seen. Gravity Falls. No shame. In only 11 days, that episode will turn 10 years old. I'm sorry what? Lost. Honestly, I was hooked within the first 10 seconds and the grip didn't let go until the very final moments of the series finale. Easily the most painful experience waiting for every episode of that show week by week and even worse, between seasons. Being able to binge it now is a very different experience, but the absolute hold it had on me and other people I know, was insane. I don't think anything like that will ever happen again. Yeah, that first episode had me completely mesmerized. Many hated the ending, but I enjoyed the show throughout. I absolutely loved the ending. I'd say Fringe too. Abrams definitely knew how to start a series. Peep Show. Jeremy, you promised not to tell. Mark, Hitler promised not to invade Czechoslovakia, Jeremy. Welcome to the real world. Impossible not to read it in their voices. Butter the toast. Eat the toast. Shit the toast. God, life's relentless. I'm not a pedo. Psych. You know that's right. I've heard it both ways. Come on son. Heroes. It was so good in season 1 but god awful after that. Almost unwatchable. The biggest casualty / sacrifice of the writers' strike. First season was so great and had such potential with the way it was set up to be sort of dark and twisted. Guy sees the future but has to get loaded on heroin. Just imagining the world that guy must live in, trying to convince people of terrible things, but who's going to believe a heroin junkie? Cheerleader wants to die but can't kill herself. So many interesting interactions set up in such a life is never fair sort of dynamic that really grounded the show. Then the strike happened after the first season and they quickly started to abandon, or forget, that grounded and interesting approach towards the characters and their powers as they scrabbled to put stuff together and get the show back on track. It was just never the same. Supernatural. The way that first episode ended. There was no way I was continuing. Seasons 1 to 5 is still one of the best things I've seen. I bought seasons 1 to 5 only, but watched the whole thing. There were some good episodes after, but those seasons were really all there needed to be. The last episode did wrap things all right though. Endings are hard and at least they didn't end it with constant hunting and shitty lives. The way that first episode started was enough to have me hooked. True. The moment John said take your brother outside as fast as you can and don't look back. Now, Dean, go. I knew I had found a new obsession.